Welcome to the VarsityKansas.com Big Show. I am Joanna Chadwick of the Wichita Eagle and VarsityKansas.com, and we are taping here at KSN. My guest today is Andale football coach Gary O'Hare. Thanks for being here, Coach.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, I tell you, I got to see your team for the first time this season in the win over Buhler on Friday night. And, you know, I had heard this summer, I think I even called you to talk about this team. People are just telling me this is a special team. That has proven that way, hasn't it?
They really are playing better. And we knew at the start of the season that we had the potential to be good, and it's starting to look like maybe that's going to come true because they are playing better and better all the time.
What is it about this team, though, that does make them special? I mean, is it that you've had guys in the program for a while that have played varsity for a while?
Well, we've got a lot of kids coming back on the line of scrimmage, you know, so the people that always catch your eye are the skill people, but we felt like we were going to be at least have a chance to be good because of the kids we had coming back on the front line, offensively and defensively both.
And who are some of those guys that have really kind of stood out for you on the line?
Well, guys that we're really riding down there, some of our seniors. Trevor Buckner is doing a phenomenal job on both sides of the ball. Nathan Burkamp is a phenomenal football player. Mike Moss, we lost Mike first quarter of the collegiate game. Knew we'd get him back. We're just now getting him back. He's a phenomenal football player, and he's just so competitive. But we've got Ben Walter down there. That's a big old kid that's playing the best football he's ever played, and so we got several of them down there who are doing a good job.
Well, and for the line of scrimmage is so important for you guys. I mean, obviously, it's important for any football team, but when you guys run the ball like you do, you got to have those holes to get your guys that space.
Well, and that's what happened, you know, with the Buhler game. You know, it was such a tough game, and we went into the fourth quarter behind, but had 185 yards rushing the fourth quarter and ran like 25 plays in the fourth quarter, and that was just because of those guys.
Well, you know, I thought it was interesting. I spoke with Jared Smarsh after the game and mentioned the third quarter where you guys only had 3 plays. You go 3 and out for -4 yards. And I said, you know, did that quarter concern you? He's like, sometimes you have a bad quarter. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, if there's ever anything that says a lot about a kid, I mean, your quarterback, Jared Smarsh, who's been there for 3 years and through a very tough first season too,
yeah.
How much poise does he have and confidence just to run this offense?
Well, that's, you know, it seemed like forever I had senior quarterbacks for 1 year and then a new senior quarterback. So, it's really neat having Jared here. You know, this is his 3rd year. Now, you know, his sophomore year, we got a kind of slow start, but he had a broken collarbone. You know, he wasn't playing in most of those games, and of course we got him back, and obviously he made us better. And that team, even that year, finished up playing really good football. But yeah, it really spoils you as a coach when you've got a kid that started out there for 3 years, and you know, you always hear people say you got a coach on the field, but it really is true. He is that.
Well, I mean, there was never any panic, and I mean, you guys are down 21-14 at Buhler. That is no easy thing there, and you guys came right back. Talk a little bit about the running game, though, with Hunter Knobloch, with, of course, Smarsh, Hank Eck, Anthony Capel, who is someone I would have watched his older siblings,
yeah.
And then Bo Knobloch coming in for the first time playing football. You got a nice core of guys there.
We really do, you know, and of course Hunter is the one that catches everybody's eyes. He's their tailback, and that kid's always going to get the ball a lot. He's such a competitor. But all of those guys back there are phenomenal runners and can break it at any point in time. And then you put them behind some guys like we got on the front line, and at least you ought to have a chance to have a pretty good running game. Yeah.
That's exactly right. All right, let's talk a little bit about the defense, too. One of the things that happened in that Buhler game was that, as Coach Warner told me after the game, they had to quit going up the middle. They had to go outside to the ends, and they were able to kind of get you guys on that option there. But your defense has played some pretty stingy defense this year. What are they doing well?
Well, you know, they did. They kind of caught us off guard. You know, we knew that they could run option well. We obviously didn't prepare for that as much as we did some of the other things. And then, you know, they started having success with option, and they continued to run it. We finally did make some adjustments, start slowing them down a little bit. But the biggest thing is we've got, you know, we talked about some of the kids on the offensive side. Some of the things that have made us better defensively is a kid like Tyler Meese, who's a senior that, you know, I wondered if he would be able to play for us this year as a senior because he's so small, but he has become a phenomenal linebacker. And just had some kids like him that have stepped it up on the defensive side, and it was exciting to play Buhler because we had several games in a row there where the starters were done at halftime just to find out how good we were. So that was exciting to see.
Well, it is a very good team. I also want to talk with you about the Andale community as a whole. You know, someone mentioned just how many fans were there at the game at Buhler. I was not surprised by that. I've seen you guys travel so well. Although, do you travel that well to Ulysses? Like if you go way out west?
We have. We've
That's
made that trip
impressive.
several times, and it ended up, gosh, I don't remember the last time we went out there. We had like 6, 7, 8 charter buses that took a crowd out there. We had a phenomenal crowd out there. So, yeah, the community, really, Andale is a special place. It's not just football. It's every sport we're competitive in. Our academics, our ACT scores are phenomenal. And it's the community. It's the parents being involved is what makes a difference in a kid's education, and that's really what makes Andale special.
Now, we talked about a game on Friday night. There's kind of a small amount of good games Friday night, which does happen during district play. But talk about Holton Hayden, too. Those are some West Side teams that you could possibly face down the line. I currently have Holton ranked number 1, although I think that you and Holton, I mean, we could go either way there with you guys. But how good is the West Side?
Well, there's so many teams. You know, Ulysses out west. Obviously, we just played Buhler. We know how good a team Buhler is. We played Collegiate earlier in the year, and that was a 2-point game. You know, we haven't seen Mays South, haven't seen Holton or Topeka Hayden. People overlook Topeka Hayden a lot of times because they play all 5 and 6A schools, and then it comes down to the playoffs, and they're always right there. So, you know, they're as good as any of the teams that we're talking about right now that have better records. But there's probably 7 or 8 teams on the West Side that are good, have enough talent to win it all.
I would agree with you there. Coach, thank you so much for being with me today. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Joanna.
Thank you. All right, well, let's talk a little bit about last week. And, of course, I was out at Buhler. It was a cold night out there. I hope you all stayed warm. I'm hoping that's the last one we had. We were spoiled last year. Didn't have a whole lot of those really cold nights. But it was a good night for football. North High gets its first win over South. It was Mays over Garden City in a very good game. I think that was a game where they were really going to be tested, and they handled it well. That offense of Mays is impressive. Connor Lungwitz had a great night, 284 passing, 5 touchdowns passing, not bad. Capon gets a win. They edge West High, so they are in the lead for that district championship. Collegiate rolls past Trinity. Trinity was without Burns, but fact is, Collegiate needed to come back after that loss to May South, and that was a good win over Trinity. Garden Plain gets its first win after 3 straight losses. We had state tennis over the weekend, and it was Andover winning Class 5A. It was McPherson winning Class 4A, and it was Collegiate winning Class 321A, which leads me to ask the question, so is the AVCTL no longer just a football league, or is it a tennis league? Pretty fascinating, I know. Impressive for the AVCTL, though. And Collegiate's Brooke Withrow, she won her 3rd straight title. They also got a doubles win from Hannah Osland and Allie Linwall. That's Hannah Osland's 2nd doubles title. She's only a sophomore. And this week, there aren't that many good games, as I mentioned already, but I'm really looking forward to May South at Heston. First of all, Heston is a great place for high school football. I love going out there, and to be able to see these two teams match up, May South is playing very well. As I wrote about last week in the Wichita Eagle, fact is I had kind of written them off after week 2 when they played Eisenhower, and then they have now come back and just been playing lights out football. They've got a test, though. They've got to go into Heston and win, and they've got to be able to stop Ryan Shadler. The kid is just tearing it up. So I hope that you enjoyed your week of high school football. We are heading into the 2nd week of districts. The games get more and more important. We've got state golf today. We are taping here on Monday. I'm headed out to Garden City after the show is over. And it's a big week with sub-state volleyball and sub-state cross country as well. So enjoy your week, and we'll see you on Monday.